How to maintain your light in the dark. Today's topic is remaining positive in negative situations. I want my audience to be able to use the steps that I have provided them as tactics to deal with anger and depression. I want you to close your eyes. Imagine it has been a relatively short period of time. Your grandfather who raised you as one of his own has passed away. The car that you purchased to get a promotion on your job has been totaled, and your mother who you reside with has unexpectedly passed away, causing a chain reaction. You have to raise money for the burial services, your lights are disconnected, and you are spontaneously evicted. Yet somehow you are able to maintain a positive mind and a smile. Now open your eyes. Did you see yourself smiling through any of that? If not, then I believe you could greatly benefit from today's conversation. I wanted you to visualize the situations I'm about to portray to you. This topic will connect with you all because life is far from perfect. We all have or will experience things, rough patches in life that can make us question our sanity, our beliefs, and our existence. My personal connection to the anecdotes and steps I will reveal throughout this speech make me an ideal candidate to coach you to a path of zen throughout chaos. There are steps and measures you can take that will aid you in the midst of turbulent times. The first step is tuning out. The second step is tuning in. The third step is meditation, and the fourth step is to relinquish control. First, let's talk about tuning out. Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines tuning out as follows: to become unresponsive to, ignore, and to dissociate oneself from what is happening or one's surroundings. One night, I was riding with my mother down a dark street. She had an older model Cadillac that didn't have any air conditioning, so the windows stayed down. She saw something white in the middle of the road. She turned to me and said, "If that thing doesn't move, I'm going to hit it." Jokingly, of course, my mother wouldn't hurt a fly. Well, that white thing happened to be a white owl with brown spots. As we got closer to the owl, it flew in front of the windshield and expanded its wings. It then floated over to my side of the vehicle. It locked eyes with me and kept up with the pace of the car. The following day, my grandfather passed away. I knew at this moment my family needed me to be strong for them. I had been prepared before this event happened without realizing it. Conversations of material possessions turned into fights during times of loss. I refused to allow myself to be consumed by greed, envy, or anger like some of my family. I made myself get to a quiet place where I was able to write every emotion I felt on a piece of paper. Sometimes the paper was covered in tears of pain. Sometimes that paper was covered in tears of laughter. But as the paper filled, the outside noise silenced until it didn't affect me anymore. I learned the art of tuning out negativity when I discovered the power of isolation and self-expression. Now that we've talked about tuning out, we're going to talk about tuning in. Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines tuning in as follows: to listen to or view, to associate oneself with what is happening or one's surroundings. This step may seem similar to tuning out, but on the contrary, they are quite the opposite. I have now gotten into a severe car accident. My mother is in the passenger side. The airbags have deployed. Her seat is reclined all the way to the back, and it is on top of my 5-year-old nephew. I had the car for only 1 month and allowed my insurance to lapse, thinking it was no big deal, until this unexpected scenario happened. After we arrived at the hospital, I found out that my mother had a compressed spine, and the majority of her ribs had been cracked. But I was okay. My nephew was okay. It was time that I tuned in. I needed to pay attention to my life and my surroundings, and to the decisions that I made that could have caused adverse reactions in my life or anyone else's. When I learned to own my mistakes, embrace my past, and believe in a better future, I inhabited the art of tuning in. Now that we've discussed tuning out and tuning in, let's discuss meditation. According to shambhala.org, meditation is defined as follows: meditation is a natural state of the human mind, at rest, open, alert. The basic meditation technique predates all religious traditions, though it is used in one way or another by each. Undertaken as a steady practice, meditation allows the mind to relax and settle. It encourages our inherent qualities of stability, clarity, and mental strength to emerge. One day I got into a heated argument with my mother and her spouse. I packed some of my things and moved to my siblings' home. It had been 2 weeks since I spoke to my mother, and honestly, I was still dealing with the grief of losing my grandfather. A few weeks later, I was outside on the phone with my significant other, having one of our weekly quarrels. All of a sudden, I saw 2 big wings go up into the sky. When I looked up, I saw a brown owl with white spots on an electrical power line in the middle of the day. Keep in mind 2 things. The last time I saw an owl, someone close to me passed away. 2, owls are nocturnal creatures and have no business out during the day. I immediately closed my eyes and began to pray. While my eyes were closed, I saw my mother on a hospital bed. I instantly started to cry. I knew no one would believe me, so I retrieved my sister and her children and brought them to the owl. We closed our eyes together and prayed. After closing the prayer out, my sister said, "Maybe this owl represents our grandfather watching over you." As soon as she said that, the owl flew away. I knew in that moment that my mother was going to be with my grandfather. Approximately 3 weeks later, my mother was diagnosed with ovarian cancer and passed away. I was still in school at this time. In my world religions course, we had to partake in a religious practice other than our norm. I am a Christian, so I figured I would go to a Shambhala meditation center. I didn't take it serious at first since I thought it went against my religious beliefs. It actually didn't, and I felt the most at peace I had felt in a very long time. I had a smile that I couldn't get to go away, just by getting alone, breathing in and out, very slowly, and listening to my heartbeat, the birds chirp, and even the cars on the road, allowing the combined elements of the world to be my soundtrack over the strife that I had been through. Now that we've discussed tuning out, tuning in, and meditation, let's discuss our 4th and final step, relinquishing control. Relinquish is defined by Merriam-Webster Dictionary as follows: to give up something, to give something, such as power, control, or possession, to another person or group. After my mother passed away, it was deja vu with my family, but times 10. Unlike my grandfather, my mother didn't have her afterlife affairs in order. We didn't know where to locate any of her important documents we were hoarding her home. Our childhood memories and achievements disheveled among piles of items, and her secret compulsive shopping led to disconnected lights and an eviction. My siblings were freaking out about raising money for her services and had pretty much given up. They decided to let the county bury her. I told them we can't give up like this. I started a GoFundMe for donations and reached out to my employer. I then sat back and waited for something to happen, and it did. The GoFundMe account raised about a quarter of the funeral costs. My employer and fellow coworkers at the time covered the rest. Myself nor my siblings had to come out of pocket for any of the expenses, and my mother was truly honored the way I know she would have wanted. I just had to realize that everything wasn't in my control. The minute I allowed other people or forces to hold the reins, I was able to achieve the desired outcome. In conclusion, I have provided you with 4 steps on how to remain positive in negative situations. 1, tuning in. 2, tuning out. 3, meditation. And 4, relinquishing control. Treat your life like the flame on a candle. Guard it at all costs. You must keep the fire burning to light your way out of the dark. Thank you.
Aww.